Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. Today we are plunging right into the results of the 2027 Rugby World Cup draw. And look, if you thought the road to the 2023 final was a bit convoluted, this new bracket setup has pretty much redefined the term lopsided.
It absolutely has.
Yeah.
The whole structure is fundamentally different this time, and that's really the key to understanding this draw.
How so?
Well, we've expanded from 20 nations to 24, so that gives us 6 pools A through F, 4 teams in each.
And the big change is the knockout stage.
Exactly. For the first time ever, a round of 16.
Yeah.
So the top 2 from each pool go through automatically, plus the 4 best third-place teams. And that extra stage, combined with how the bracket is preset, it's just created 2 wildly different paths to the final.
So that's our mission today. We're going to dive into all the analysis, the immediate reactions, to figure out who's taking the scenic route to the semis.
And then who's been thrown onto an immediate gut-wrenching collision course.
We're looking for those horror routes and those golden opportunities.
Right, and you have to look past the pools. The difficulty curve just shoots up for about half the teams the second the group stage ends. Yeah. I mean, the difference between finishing first in Pool F versus first in Pool B is staggering.
Okay, before we get into that, if you want the quickest, sharpest analysis of the rugby world, you know what to do. Subscribe to Rugby Obsession now. We dive deep into the biggest stories the moment they drop. So let's unpack this collision course right away, because it is the headline story. We're already talking about a potential quarterfinal between the 2023 finalists, the All Blacks, and the Springboks.
It feels like history repeating itself, doesn't it?
It really does.
But it's more than that. It's structurally locked in. Let's just trace the path. Look at South Africa in Pool B. They've got Italy, Georgia, and Romania.
A pretty manageable pool for the Bucks.
Overwhelmingly so. The coaches talked up Italy's potential, sure, but based on recent form, SA beat Italy and Georgia comfortably in 2025. South Africa is the clear favorite to top that pool. And then you have Pool A New Zealand, the hosts Australia, Chile, and debutantes Hong Kong, China. All Blacks are expected to top that one too, even with a big opening game against the Wallabies on home soil.
Right. Chile and Hong Kong, China are being called, small speed bumps. So you've got the 2 Southern Hemisphere giants, both likely topping their pools.
Okay.
And here's the kicker. The winners of Pool A and Pool B are locked onto the same half of the knockout bracket, their reward for winning their group. A massive potential clash with each other.
In the quarterfinal.
Yeah. Assuming they both win their round of 16 games, which everyone expects, they are destined to meet.
Wow. After all the outcry over the 2023 draw, how is this being received?
It's being seen as a far cry from the abomination of last time because it's earned through the bracket, not, some pre-draw seeding issue. But the outcome's the same. 2 of the biggest contenders are forced to spend massive energy just to get to a semifinal. And that physical toll, that's the key. The team that wins that quarterfinal will be running on fumes for the semi. But thankfully for some other nations, the draw fairy was a bit kinder. Let's shift to the clear winners, the teams who got an easy one.
That has to be England, right? You look at the horror show for NZ and SA, and then you see England in Pool F. They drew Wales, Tonga, and Zimbabwe. Steve Borthwick must be absolutely smitten with that.
He must be. They're expected to win that pool comfortably.
Oh, for sure. But winning the pool isn't even the whole story. The real prize is the knockout path.
Right.
Topping Pool F is the golden ticket. It lands them on the opposite side of the bracket from New Zealand, South Africa, and France. They won't face any of them until the semis at the earliest.
And they're a round of 16 opponent?
Probably one of the third-place teams. So maybe Italy, Georgia, or Romania. Nations England has literally never lost to.
So their likely quarterfinal opponent would be, what, Australia maybe?
Potentially, yeah. The runner-up from Pool A, or E. Compare that to a Box All Blacks quarterfinal. It's night and day. The sources all agree England's road is the easiest one.
And what about the hosts, Australia? They seem to have done well, too.
They really have. They avoided a very difficult pool. They should breeze through Chile and Hong Kong, China. But the interesting part is that opening match against the All Blacks.
So this is where it gets tactical.
Exactly. If they win and top the pool, they take New Zealand's spot on that collision course. But if they lose and finish second, they shift over to the other side of the draw, potentially towards England.
So is it better to finish second?
That's the dilemma. But for the Wallabies, the focus is really positive. That opening match, win or lose, is being framed as the perfect way for Australians to fall back in love with the game. A big PR win.
Got it. And another clear winner seems to be Argentina.
Los Pumas, absolutely. They're in a unique spot in Pool C. They're the only Tier 1 nation that wasn't drawn with another Tier 1 team. It's them, Fiji, Spain, and Canada.
So they're the clear frontrunners to top that group.
No question. The only catch is their prize for winning the pool is a likely quarterfinal against Ireland.
Ah, which brings us to Pool D and Ireland's famous quarterfinal hoodoo.
Well, this is being called their best opportunity to finally break it. Yes, it's a tough pool with Scotland again for the third World Cup in a row, but topping that group is everything.
And if they top it.
They get a very manageable round of 16 draw, and then, yes, that likely quarterfinal against Argentina. And while Argentina used to be their bogey team, Ireland has really dominated them in recent years. The path is there for a historic semifinal.
It's great to see the tournament expanding, creating these new dynamics. Let's talk about that a bit, the impact on the Tier 2 nations.
It's a huge win for world rugby globally. Look at Hong Kong, China. Their ultimate dream is happening. They're in Pool A. They get to play the All Blacks on the biggest stage. That brings in a whole new audience.
Then you've got teams like the USA who are being really strategic. They're in a tough Pool E with France, Japan, and Samoa.
It looks like a group of death, but they know Japan and Samoa really well from the Pacific Nations Cup. Their goal is to grab one of those 4 best third-place spots. It's all vital preparation for when they host in 2031.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Who do you think got the easiest ride, England or Australia? What stands out to you about this draw?
I still think it's England. Structurally, their path is just better. Their potential quarterfinal opponent is statistically weaker than who Australia might face. England's route feels almost, mathematically guaranteed until the semis.
A structural guarantee. That's a huge advantage. We love hearing your insights. Drop us a comment and make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession so you never miss a deep dive. Okay, so we've talked about the winners. Let's touch on the unlucky ones, the Tier 2 nations who got a bit of a tough hand.
You have to start with Scotland. Technically Tier 1, but the draw did them no favors. If they finish second behind Ireland, they'll likely face France in the round of 16. That is a brutal first knockout game.
And France is on that same tough side of the bracket as New Zealand and South Africa.
Exactly. And then you have the darlings of the last couple of World Cups, Uruguay and Portugal. They're definitely seen as losers in this draw.
But they qualified. Isn't that a win?
It's a win to be there, but the draw itself is a loss. They're in Pool D with 2 Six-Nation sides, Ireland and Scotland. So they're fighting each other for third, and then they have to hope their points differential is better than teams like Japan or the USA. It's a really tall order.
That points differential battle is going to be so crucial.
It's everything for those third-place spots.
Yeah.
And it's just much harder for them to rack up points against Ireland and Scotland.
And finally, a word for Zimbabwe, back for the first time since 1991.
A fantastic story. But they're in with England, Wales, and Tonga. It's a mighty, mighty task. They're aiming for their first ever tournament win, but they've been dealt an incredibly tough hand.
So to sum it up, what we have is a tournament already defined by a really lopsided draw, a red carpet for teams like England, and a collision course that guarantees one of the big Southern Hemisphere teams is gone before the semis.
And that lopsidedness is why Dan Carter's verdict is so interesting. He just said, there's going to be upsets. And that's the thing to think about. It's not just about quality, it's about fatigue. Will a smitten team like England falter against a physical Tonga? Or will the winner of that brutal Box All Blacks quarterfinal just be too exhausted to compete in the semi against a fresh opponent? That's where the upsets could happen.
That is the beautiful mystery of the World Cup, isn't it? This format guarantees drama right from the start. If you enjoyed this detailed look at the draw, hit that subscribe button right now to Rugby Obsession.
We covered the pools, the winners, the losers, and all the paths that lie ahead.
Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we'll look forward to you listening to our next episode.